What if the power stayed off for 3 weeks? Tens of millions of Americans are about to find out. A catastrophic winter storm is bearing down on the southern United States right now, and it is unlike anything we have seen in decades. This is not a drill. This is not hype. The National Weather Service is already issuing extreme impact warnings across 8 states, and we are still 4 days out. Here is what you need to know right now. By Saturday morning, an area larger than Texas and California combined will be under winter storm warnings. We are talking about snowfall stretching from New Mexico to Virginia, over 2,000 miles of frozen chaos. And the cold? Temperatures will plunge into the single digits across Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi, places that have not seen weather like this since 1989. But here is the part that nobody is talking about yet: the ice. Forecasters are predicting up to 2 inches of freezing rain in some areas. 2 inches may not sound like much, but let me put this in perspective. 1/4 inch of ice can snap tree branches. 1/2 inch brings down power lines. 1 inch collapses cell towers. At 2 inches, we are looking at infrastructure failure on a massive scale. And I am going to show you exactly which cities are in the bullseye. Stay with me for 30 more seconds, and you will see the map that emergency managers are using right now to prepare for this. Here is your first reward for watching. The Weather Prediction Center just released their latest probability map, and the numbers are staggering. They are showing a 70 to 90% chance of at least moderate impacts across the entire storm path. But look at this. The probability of extreme impacts, the kind that shut down cities for weeks, is sitting at 40 to 60% from Dallas through Atlanta to Charlotte. 40 to 60%. Those are the same odds meteorologists gave Houston before Hurricane Harvey stalled over the city for 4 days. The storm is not even formed yet, but 2 separate forecasting models, the European and the American GFS, are showing nearly identical tracks, and they have been consistent for 72 hours straight. In weather forecasting, that kind of model agreement this far out is extremely rare. It means the atmosphere is locked into a pattern that cannot easily change. So what is driving this monster? A record-breaking high-pressure system is about to plant itself over the northern United States. We are talking about pressure readings that could break records dating back to the 1930s. This high-pressure dome will act like a brick wall, trapping Arctic air over the eastern half of the country for at least 7 to 10 days. At the same time, moisture from the Gulf of Mexico will stream northward and slam directly into that Arctic air mass. Warm meets cold. When that happens over Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, and the Carolinas, you get snow. Lots of snow. And sleet. And freezing rain. All falling while temperatures sit in the teens and 20s. But which areas will see snow versus ice? That is the $100 billion question. And the answer comes down to a weather feature called the Baja Low. This is a pocket of low pressure that is currently sitting off the coast of California. And what happens with this Baja Low over the next 48 hours will determine whether you wake up to 12 inches of snow or 1 inch of ice coating everything you own. Think about that for a second. Your entire weekend, your safety, your access to power could hinge on what a low-pressure system does 2,000 miles away in the Pacific Ocean. That is how interconnected our weather systems are right now. Let me show you the 2 scenarios. Scenario 1. The Baja Low stays weak and gets absorbed into the bigger storm system early. If that happens, we are looking at the GFS model solution. Heavy snow from Dallas to Washington, D.C. We are talking about 6 to 12 inches across northern Texas, 12 to 20 inches through Arkansas and Tennessee, and potentially 24 to 36 inches from the Appalachian Mountains through southern Virginia and West Virginia. Scenario 2. The Baja Low stays strong and phases in later. That is what the Canadian model is showing. In this scenario, the storm becomes what meteorologists call a Miller-B system. The low pressure transfers from inland to off the east coast. When that happens, you get a sharp cutoff between snow to the north and ice to the south. Cities like Atlanta, Birmingham, Charlotte, and Raleigh would see primarily sleet and freezing rain. Meanwhile, Philadelphia, New York, and Boston would get hammered with 18 to 30 inches of snow. Right now, the forecast models are split right down the middle between these 2 scenarios, and that split will not resolve until Friday morning at the earliest, maybe not until Friday night. So what should you do if you live anywhere from Texas to Virginia? Prepare for both. Prepare for heavy snow and prepare for devastating ice, because either way, you are going to lose power. And I'm going to tell you exactly how long those outages could last in just a moment. First, let me give you the timeline. This storm starts Friday evening across Texas and Oklahoma. By Friday night, snow will be falling from Dallas to Little Rock. By Saturday morning, the entire southern United States, from New Mexico to the Carolinas, will be experiencing winter weather. Heavy snow, sleet, freezing rain, or all three at the same time. The peak of the storm hits Saturday afternoon and Saturday night. That is when snowfall rates could reach 2 to 3 inches per hour in some locations. That is when the ice accumulation begins in earnest across the deep south. And that is when the power starts going out. By Sunday morning, the storm begins to lift northward. But the precipitation does not stop. Some models keep snow falling across parts of the mid-Atlantic all the way through Sunday night and into Monday morning. We could be looking at a 72-hour event from start to finish. Now, about those temperatures. This is where things get truly dangerous. As the storm moves through, Arctic air will continue pouring southward behind it. By Sunday morning, Atlanta will wake up to temperatures in the low teens. Birmingham could see single digits. Dallas might hit 5 degrees. Nashville, 0 degrees. These are not wind chill temperatures I am talking about. These are actual air temperatures in cities where the average January low is in the 30s. And it gets worse. That cold air is going to stick around. The extended forecast shows below normal temperatures continuing for at least 10 days after the storm. Some long-range models are suggesting we could stay locked in this Arctic pattern through the first week of February. What does that mean for you? It means anything that falls is going to stay on the ground. Snow will not melt. Ice will not melt. Roads will remain impassable. Power crews will not be able to work. And temperatures inside homes without heat will drop to dangerous levels. Let me be very clear about something. This is not just a snow and ice problem. This is a survival problem for millions of people who have never had to deal with weather like this before. Southern infrastructure is not built for prolonged Arctic conditions. Homes are not insulated the way they are in Minnesota. Water pipes run through attics and crawl spaces instead of deep underground. Power grids are designed for summer heat loads, not winter ice loads. Even road treatment is different. Southern states use fewer salt trucks because they rarely need them. All of this adds up to a cascading failure scenario, and we have seen this play out before. Remember the Texas freeze in February 2021? That was a 5-day event. Power outages lasted for 4 days. 246 people died. $30 billion in damages. And that was primarily a cold event with minimal precipitation. This storm is bringing both extreme cold and heavy precipitation. The impact could be exponentially worse. Here is what the power companies are saying right now. Duke Energy, which serves much of the Carolinas, has pre-positioned crews from as far away as Florida and Indiana. They are planning for outages affecting hundreds of thousands of customers. Georgia Power is doing the same. They have mobilized their entire storm response team and are bringing in contractors from neighboring states. But here is the problem. When you have ice accumulation across such a massive geographic area, there are simply not enough crews to go around. If Atlanta loses power at the same time as Charlotte, at the same time as Nashville, at the same time as Dallas, who gets help first? Utilities work on a triage system during major events. They restore power to hospitals and emergency services first. Then, critical infrastructure like water treatment plants. Then neighborhoods with the most customers per repair. Single-family homes in rural areas. You might be waiting a week, maybe 2 weeks. In extreme cases, 3 weeks. And I promised you, I would tell you exactly how long these outages could last. Here it is. Based on the ice accumulation forecasts and historical data from similar storms, if you live in an area that receives more than 1 inch of ice, you should prepare to be without power for 7 to 14 days minimum. That is 2 weeks. No electricity, no heat, in single-digit temperatures. If you live in an area forecast to receive between ½ inch and 1 inch of ice, plan for 3 to 7 days without power. And even if you are in a snow-only zone, plan for at least 2 to 3 days of outages because the sheer weight of snow on power lines and trees can still bring down the grid. Now, are you wondering which specific cities are at highest risk? Let me give you the bullseye list right now. For catastrophic ice accumulation, Dallas, Texarkana, Shreveport, Monroe, Jackson, Mississippi, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Montgomery, Atlanta, Macon, Columbia, South Carolina, and Charlotte for extreme snowfall totals. Amarillo, Wichita Falls, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, Knoxville, Asheville, Roanoke, Lynchburg, and Charlottesville. For the worst of both worlds, heavy snow and ice. Fort Smith, Arkansas, Fayetteville, Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas Corridor, Chattanooga, Greenville, Spartanburg, South Carolina, Upstate Region, Winston-Salem, and Greensboro. Are you in one of those cities? Then keep watching, because at the 5-minute mark, I am going to give you the specific preparation checklist that emergency managers are using right now. The things you need to do in the next 48 hours to keep your family safe. But first, let me show you something that is going to blow your mind. The European Model Ensemble, which is one of the most accurate forecasting tools we have, has been running this storm scenario for 3 days straight, and each run shows essentially the same footprint. Virginia, through Tennessee, through Arkansas, through Texas. The storm is not wavering. It is not shifting. It is locked in. That kind of consistency is almost unheard of for a winter storm this far south. Usually, these systems are highly sensitive to small changes in the atmosphere. A shift of 50 miles north or south can mean the difference between rain and snow. But this storm, the atmosphere is so strongly configured right now that there is almost no wiggle room. The high-pressure system forcing Arctic air southward is measuring over 1055 millibars in some model runs. To put that in perspective, normal high pressure is around 1020 millibars. 1030 is considered strong. 1040 is impressive. 1055? That is potentially record-breaking for the continental United States in January. This high is so strong that it is going to suppress the jet stream, forcing it to dive deep into the southern states. And that dip in the jet stream is what is going to trap moisture and create this prolonged winter storm. Think of it like this. Imagine a river flowing from west to east. Now imagine someone builds a massive dam on the north side of that river, forcing the water to flow southward instead. That is what this high-pressure system is doing to our weather pattern. It is damming up the jet stream and forcing everything to flow south and east. And once that pattern locks in, it becomes self-reinforcing. The cold air makes the high pressure stronger. The stronger high pressure forces more cold air southward, and the cycle continues. Meteorologists call this a negative NAO pattern combined with a negative PNA pattern. You do not need to remember those terms. What you need to remember is this. When both of those patterns are strongly negative at the same time, we get prolonged Arctic outbreaks over the eastern United States, and they do not break easily. The last time we saw a pattern this strongly configured for sustained cold and winter storms in the South was January 1985. That month, Florida saw snow. Texas saw below zero temperatures for days on end, and the Southeast was essentially shut down for 2 weeks. We are about to see a repeat. Possibly worse, because this storm is also bringing moisture. Lots of moisture. The models show precipitable water values, which is a measure of atmospheric moisture, reaching the 90th percentile for this time of year. We are talking about tropical levels of moisture slamming into Arctic air. You know what happens when you combine tropical moisture with Arctic temperatures? You get thundersnow. Yes, thunderstorms with snow instead of rain, lightning, thunder, and snow falling at rates of 3 to 4 inches per hour. Some models are showing thundersnow potential across parts of Tennessee, northern Alabama, northern Georgia, and the Carolinas Saturday night. If that verifies, we could see localized snow totals exceeding 30 inches in areas that normally see maybe 1 or 2 inches per year. 30 inches of snow in Atlanta? That would shatter every record in the book. The city is not equipped to handle that. Neither are the people. And when you combine that snow with temperatures in the teens, you create a situation where people cannot leave their homes, even if they have power, even if they have supplies. Because here is something most people do not think about. You can have a 4-wheel drive vehicle. You can have snow tires. But when snow is 3 feet deep on your residential street, you are not going anywhere. Not until a plow comes through. And how many snow plows do you think the city of Atlanta has? or Birmingham, or Dallas. These cities have maybe a few dozen snow removal trucks each. Compared to a city like Buffalo, which has over 200, southern cities cannot clear snow at the same rate as northern cities. So even if the storm ends Sunday, it might be Tuesday or Wednesday before major roads are passable. Side streets and neighborhoods could be a week or more, and that assumes the trucks can even operate. If ice is coating the roads first, if temperatures are in the single digits, if power is out making traffic lights inoperable, snow removal becomes exponentially more difficult. This is why the Weather Prediction Center is using words like catastrophic and extreme in their hazard assessments. This is why emergency managers in 8 states are already activating their emergency operations centers. This is why the National Guard has been put on standby in multiple states. They know what is coming. And now, you do too. So here is what you need to do. Right now, today, do not wait until Friday. Do not wait until you see the first snowflake. By then, the stores will be empty, the roads will be jammed, and you will be out of options. Go to the store today. Get water, at least 1 gallon per person per day for 10 days. Get non-perishable food that does not require cooking. Peanut butter, crackers, canned goods, protein bars, dried fruit. Get batteries. Get flashlights. Get a battery-powered or hand-crank radio so you can get weather updates if the power goes out. If you have a fireplace or wood stove, stock up on firewood now. If you do not, identify the warmest room in your house and plan to seal it off if you lose heat. Gather blankets, sleeping bags, and warm clothing in that room. Fill your bathtub with water before the storm hits. If pipes freeze, you will need that water for flushing toilets. Fill your car with gas. Charge all your electronic devices. Charge battery packs. If you have a generator, make sure it works and that you have fuel. Never run a generator inside your home or garage. Carbon monoxide poisoning kills people in every winter storm. Bring pets indoors. Bring in any outdoor plants that could freeze. Disconnect garden hoses. Insulate outdoor faucets and pipes. Open cabinet doors under sinks to let warm air circulate around pipes. Let faucets drip if temperatures are forecast to drop below 20 degrees. Moving water is less likely to freeze. If you take medication, make sure you have at least a 2-week supply. If you use medical equipment that requires electricity, contact your power company now to get on their priority restoration list. Have a backup plan if that equipment fails. Check on your neighbors, especially elderly neighbors or anyone who might need help. Make sure they know what is coming. Offer to help them prepare. And most importantly, make the decision right now that you are not traveling this weekend. Cancel your plans. Stay home. This is not a storm you want to be caught in on the highway. Emergency responders may not be able to reach you if you slide off the road. Ambulances may not be able to get to you if you have a medical emergency. This is a stay-at-home event. Period. Now, I know some of you are thinking, the forecasters always hype these storms and they never verify. I get it. We have all seen busted forecasts, but this is different, and I am going to tell you why you should take this one seriously. The model agreement. Both the European and American models are showing similar solutions. They have been consistent for days. That almost never happens this far out unless the pattern is extremely strong. The cold. We are not talking about marginal temperatures here. We are talking about temperatures 20 to 30 degrees below normal for over a week. That kind of sustained cold is extremely rare in the South. And when it does happen, it creates problems most people are not prepared for. The moisture. The Gulf of Mexico is pumping huge amounts of moisture northward. That moisture has to go somewhere. And when it hits Arctic air, it falls as snow and ice. Lots of it. The high pressure. That record-breaking high-pressure system is the engine driving this whole event, and it is not going anywhere for at least 10 days. All of those factors together create a worst-case scenario for the southern United States, and the forecast confidence is high, not 100% on exact snow versus ice locations, but very high on the overall pattern. So please, take this seriously. Prepare now, because by Friday night, it will be too late. One more thing I want to mention. After this storm passes, the cold is not going away. Long-range forecasts show below normal temperatures continuing through at least the first week of February. Some models suggest this Arctic pattern could persist even longer. What does that mean? It means we could see additional winter storms. The pattern will remain favorable for southern winter weather. If another disturbance moves through next week or the week after, we could be dealing with snow and ice all over again. This is not a one-and-done situation. This is a pattern change, a significant, prolonged pattern change, the kind we might look back on years from now and remember where we were when it happened. So prepare for the long haul. Stock up on supplies that will last weeks, not days. Make arrangements with family and friends to check on each other regularly. If you lose power, know where you can go. A friend's house in a different area, a hotel, a warming shelter. Have a plan B and a plan C. And keep watching the forecasts. Updates will be coming several times a day as we get closer. The exact track and precipitation types will become clearer by Friday morning. But the overall message is not going to change. A major, potentially historic winter storm is coming, and it is going to impact millions of people in ways they have never experienced before. Stay safe out there, stay warm, and stay prepared, because the next 72 hours are going to change everything for the southern United States. And what you do in the next 48 hours could determine whether you ride this out safely or face serious danger. This is not fear-mongering. This is not hype. This is reality. A reality that emergency managers, power companies, and weather forecasters are working around the clock to prepare for. Now it is your turn. Get ready, because this storm is coming, and it is going to be one that everyone remembers for decades. Let me give you some additional critical information that could save your life. First, let's talk about what happens inside your home when the power goes out in extreme cold. Within the first hour, you probably will not notice much change. Your house has thermal mass. It holds heat for a while, but after 6 hours with no heat and temperatures outside in the single digits, your indoor temperature will start dropping fast. After 12 hours, most homes will be in the 40s inside. After 24 hours, the 30s. After 48 hours, you could be looking at indoor temperatures in the 20s. And that is when pipes start freezing and bursting. A burst pipe in your walls during a winter storm when no plumbers can get to you? That is thousands of dollars in damage. Water flooding your home. In freezing temperatures, here is how to prevent that. Before the storm hits, locate your main water shutoff valve. Know how to turn it off. If you lose power for more than 12 hours and temperatures are forecast to stay below 20 degrees, shut off your main water and drain your pipes. Open all faucets. Flush toilets. This empties the pipes so there is nothing to freeze and burst. Yes, you will not have running water, but you already filled your bathtub, right? And you have bottled water for drinking, so you will be fine. And you will save yourself from catastrophic water damage. Now let's talk about carbon monoxide. Every single winter storm, people die from carbon monoxide poisoning. They bring their grill inside to cook. They run their generator in the garage. They use their gas oven to heat their home. Do not do any of these things. Carbon monoxide is odorless, colorless. You cannot detect it without a detector, and it kills you before you even realize what is happening. If you do not have a carbon monoxide detector, get one today. Get several. Put them on every floor of your home, and never, ever burn anything indoors that is meant for outdoor use. Not charcoal, not propane, not gasoline generators. Outside only. Even in a blizzard, even in single-digit temperatures, outside only. Let me tell you about something else most people do not think about. Your cell phone. When the power goes out, cell towers have backup batteries. But those batteries only last about 8 to 12 hours. After that, if the power is still out, you lose cell service. And if you lose cell service, you lose your ability to call for help. You lose your ability to get weather updates. You lose your connection to the outside world. This is why that battery-powered radio is so important. AM and FM radio stations have much longer backup power systems. Some have generators that can run for weeks, so even if everything else fails, you can still get information via radio. Also, conserve your phone battery like your life depends on it, because it might Turn off Wi-Fi. Turn off Bluetooth. Lower screen brightness. Close apps you are not using. Put your phone in airplane mode when you are not actively using it. A fully charged phone that is managed carefully can last 3 to 4 days. And speaking of communications, let your family know your plan. If you are staying home, tell them. If you are evacuating to a friend's house, tell them. Check in with them before the storm hits and let them know you might lose communication. Agree on a schedule. Maybe you will text every morning at 9 a.m. if you have power. If they do not hear from you, they know something is wrong. Now here is something that might surprise you. The most dangerous time during a winter storm is not during the storm itself. It is the days after. That is when people get hurt trying to clear snow. Heart attacks from shoveling, falls from slipping on ice, carbon monoxide poisoning from running generators, hypothermia from being outside too long. If you have to shovel snow, take it slow. Take frequent breaks. Do not try to clear your entire driveway in one session. And if you are over 50 or if you have any heart conditions, consider not shoveling at all. Wait for help. It is not worth the risk. Also, watch for falling ice. After an ice storm, when the sun comes out or temperatures rise slightly, ice starts falling from trees and power lines. Big chunks of ice, heavy enough to seriously injure or kill someone. So stay out from under trees and power lines for several days after an ice storm. Let's talk about food safety for a moment. Your refrigerator will keep food cold for about 4 hours without power. After that, you need to start making decisions. Your freezer will keep food frozen for about 48 hours if you keep it closed. Do not open it unless absolutely necessary. If you know the power is going to be out for an extended period and you have snow outside, you can use that snow as a refrigerator. Put perishable items in a cooler, surround them with snow, and keep the cooler outside. Nature's refrigerator. Just make sure animals cannot get to it. Here is another critical point. This storm is happening on a weekend, Friday night through Sunday. That means hospitals and emergency services are already going to be stretched thin with normal weekend staffing. Add a catastrophic winter storm on top of that, emergency rooms are going to be overwhelmed. If you have a medical emergency during the storm, help might not be able to reach you quickly. Ambulances cannot drive through 2 feet of snow. Emergency helicopter flights get grounded in winter weather. So please, do everything you can to avoid injuries. Do not take unnecessary risks. Do not go outside unless absolutely necessary. Do not drive unless it is life or death. And if you do have a medical emergency, call 911 immediately. Do not wait to see if it gets better. Do not try to drive yourself to the hospital. Call for help and then do what the dispatcher tells you to do. Let's talk about pets and livestock for a minute. If you have outdoor animals, bring them inside now. Chickens, rabbits, whatever you have, they cannot survive extended periods in single-digit temperatures. Dogs and cats need to be indoors. Even cold weather breeds can suffer frostbite and hypothermia in extreme conditions. If you have horses or cattle, make sure they have shelter from the wind. Make sure they have access to unfrozen water. You might need to break ice on water troughs several times a day. And increase their feed. Animals burn more calories, trying to stay warm in extreme cold. Now, I want to address something for those of you who are thinking about trying to ride this out in a vehicle. Maybe you live in an RV. Maybe you are thinking you will just sit in your car with the heat running if the power goes out. Do not do this. Cars are not designed for extended habitation in extreme cold. Your gas will run out. Your battery will die. And if you are running your engine for heat, there is a serious risk of carbon monoxide poisoning, especially if snow blocks your exhaust pipe. People die every winter trying to stay warm in their cars during storms. If you do not have a safe place to ride out the storm, go to a shelter now, before the storm hits. Most communities are opening emergency shelters, Red Cross, churches, community centers. They will have heat, food, and water. Swallow your pride and go. It could save your life. Here is something else to consider. Medications. Do you have enough? What happens if pharmacies are closed for a week? What if you cannot get to the pharmacy because of road conditions? Call your doctor today. Explain the situation. See if you can get an emergency refill to carry you through. This is especially critical for insulin, heart medications, blood pressure medications, anything you absolutely cannot go without. Have at least a 2-week supply on hand before the storm hits. Also, think about your glasses or contacts. What if you break your only pair of glasses? Do you have a backup? What if you run out of contact solution? These might seem like small things, but they matter when you are isolated for days or weeks. Let me give you a realistic scenario of what this could look like. It is Saturday night. The storm is raging. Power just went out. You are sitting in your living room with your family. You light candles. You pull out flashlights. Everyone is calm. This is kind of exciting, right? Like an adventure. Sunday morning. Power is still out. The house is getting cold, maybe down to 50 degrees. You are putting on extra layers, eating cold cereal for breakfast. Still okay, but less fun now. Sunday night. House is in the 40s. You have everyone sleeping in the living room with the fireplace going. Or you have sealed off one bedroom and everyone is huddled there. You are starting to worry. When will the power come back? Monday. No power. House is in the 30s. Pipes might start freezing soon. You are burning through your firewood faster than you thought. Cell service is spotty. You have not been able to get updates. You do not know when help is coming. Tuesday. Still no power. You are starting to run low on supplies. The novelty has worn off completely. Everyone is cold, uncomfortable, scared. This is when people make bad decisions. This is when they try to drive to find help. This is when they bring the grill inside. This is when accidents happen. Do not let it get to that point. Prepare now so you can ride out the full 2 weeks if necessary. Because that is the reality we might be facing. And remember, you are not alone in this. Millions of people across the southern United States are going to be going through the same thing. Communities will come together. Neighbors will help neighbors. People with generators will charge phones for people without. People with fireplaces will invite others to warm up. That is who we are when crisis hits. But you have to survive long enough for that community support to kick in. And that means preparing now. One final thought. After this storm is over, after the snow melts and the power comes back on, take time to evaluate what worked and what did not. What would you do differently next time? What supplies do you wish you had? What preparations would have made things easier? Because here's the truth. Climate patterns are changing. Weather is becoming more extreme. This might not be the last time you face a situation like this. So learn from it. Be better prepared next time. But for right now, focus on getting through this weekend. This storm. This event that is going to test millions of people in ways they have never been tested before. You have the information. You have the checklist. You have the timeline. Now you need to act. Do not wait. Do not procrastinate. Do not assume. It will not be as bad as they are saying. This is real. This is happening. And it is happening this weekend. Get prepared. Stay safe. And we will all get through this together.